That's why we need to talk specifically to people in America who know what this is all about. Shortly, we'll be speaking to Nasrita Yumga, but right now, I'm delighted to say we are going to speak to Rob Smith, who is an Iraq War veteran and a political analyst who is a contributor for Turning Point USA, an advocacy group for young conservatives. You can follow Rob on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram on Rob Smith Online. He was right there in the thick of it, in the violence in Minnesota, and the following day he made this moving video.
Think about all of the people who sacrificed their black lives to build up their dreams here. Think about all the black lives that live in this neighborhood that now don't have a grocery store to go to, that now don't have a Target to go to, that now don't have a gym to go to, that now don't have anywhere to work out, that now don't have anything.
Rob Smith, great video. Welcome to Outsiders. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're really good. Now, you've heard us talking about what's happening there. Tell us what Minnesota was like and tell us why is it that Black Lives Matter don't seem to matter when it's black livelihoods and black lives in the neighbourhoods where their looting occurs? What's going on?
Well, I'll tell you, first of all, I wasn't in Minnesota in the thick of the riots. I was there shortly after. And I will tell you what I saw in Minnesota when everything was said and done. There's a street called Lake Street in Minneapolis. It is where everybody goes to hang out, to have fun. It's the most kind of happening strip down there in Minneapolis. And I went down there and I saw a strip that was smoldering. You have to see it for yourself. I'm talking buildings falling apart. I'm talking a bombed out Walgreens. There's a video that I did on my Twitter account at Rob Smith Online where I went into the Target that was completely destroyed and I took video from inside. There was an affordable housing complex that was completely destroyed. I was talking to people that live in Minneapolis, and they said that this area that had taken the better part of a decade to really build up and was finally becoming something has been absolutely destroyed. I spoke to a young Black woman who lives in that neighborhood who told me very specifically, this is why I referenced that in the video. I went to that Target. That Target sold groceries. I have no Burger King or McDonald's anymore. I have no Walgreens anymore. Where are people going to go to get their prescriptions? And when you see the destruction that happened in the name of these protests, in the name of Black Lives Matter, in the name of everything that was going on, it, to me, underlines the hypocrisy of what's going on in that movement right now. Because the vast majority of people that were affected by this devastation that happened in Minneapolis, which, by the way, there's devastation in New York City, there's devastation in Atlanta, there's a lot of devastation there. The people that are going to be living with the effects of this are African American. And before I went down to Minnesota, I decided I felt hopeless when I saw these images of these riots. I felt hopeless. I felt disgusted. I felt like there was nothing I could do. I did a video on my social media handles at Rob Smith Online. You can find it right now. I started a GoFundMe, and I'm in tears in this video, and I'm saying, I don't know what I can do, but I can start a GoFundMe to help try to bring back this community and help these, by the way, some African-American small business owners who lost their entire livelihoods to this lawlessness. And the GoFundMe has exploded, and it's raised over $100,000, and people are continuing to donate. And I'm going to partner with the local organization in Minneapolis that is specifically there to help rebuild that street. But I have to tell you that there's a talking point that's going on here in America, and it's coming from the left. Well, you know, these places can be rebuilt. You know, you can't bring somebody back to life. And that, to me, doesn't make any sense, because these are lives, and this is what I said in that video, these are lives that have been destroyed. Over what? Over this idea that young Black men in this country somehow exist in some alternate universe in which we are hunted by police officers the second that we leave our homes, that we are just hunted by white people the second we leave our homes. It is just not true. The numbers don't bear it out. It has no basis in any actual reality. Now, that's not to say that there are some real conversations that need to be had on both the right and the left in America when it comes to policing in communities, when it comes to how the police interact towards African Americans. I completely understand that. I'm a Black man in America, and I am totally willing to have that conversation. But to excuse some of the brutality that we saw in those riots, to excuse the destruction, to excuse the amount of people who had their livelihoods absolutely destroyed in the names of Black Lives Matter I don't think that it is a good thing to do to excuse it. And where a lot of the leaders of that movement truly lost me, and I believe that they lost a lot of people, is when they didn't speak out against this destruction when it first started, because it helped them further their agenda.
Absolutely.
It's great that the protests are peaceful now, but they were not peaceful before.
Rita.
And those businesses that were destroyed, many of them aren't going to come back, are they? And those Black communities are going to have to survive without the convenience of having a chemist, having a supermarket, having a Target in their neighbourhood. The people who are going to be hurt aren't going to be the businesses in the long run. It will be the community.
It'll be the community, Rita. You're absolutely right. I went to one of the things that you'll see on my social media is that I talked to a coalition of 4 churches in Minneapolis that had come together to feed the community, because now the community doesn't have a grocery store anymore. There's no grocery store there anymore. So the people that are not driving, or the people that had to rely on buses, have nowhere to go to get groceries. So they had to depend on donations. And out of this fund, we're going to make a $10,000 donation to those 4 churches to continue their work. And Rita, it pains me that the left in this country can't have a real conversation about the destruction that this has caused. And I was watching earlier, and you all had made reference to people that were already struggling during COVID. COVID shut these businesses down. And I talked to people that were already struggling for COVID. And this is the 1-2 punch that, like you said, Rita, these people's businesses are not going to come back. They don't know what they're going to do.
It's absolutely tragic. Rob Smith, thanks so much for talking to us on Outsiders. We'd love to chat to you again and hear the truth of what's going on in America. We've run out of time now, but thanks so much. And well done on the GoFundMe page. Terrific result there. People can look for that on Rob Smith online. Thanks, Rob Smith, so much for coming on Outsiders today.